Hi, guys. Welcome to the vent.
And when I was diagnosed, only my wife knew, my children, my parents, and my sister. That was it. That's all I told. And as time went on, I started to tell more people that were very close to me. And I entrusted my status with someone who I thought was a friend. This is someone that I've known for 17 or 18 years. Now, they didn't know everything about me. Only my closest family knew everything about me. As I've said in other videos, I struggled with sexuality for, all my life, up until the age of 42 when I was diagnosed with HIV. And for those that don't know, I am bisexual. I'm married to a lady, but I am bisexual. And that's something that I struggled with on my own for 42 years. Nobody knew. No one. And that's because I was scared. I didn't want to share it because I was scared. That's the only way I can put it. Fearful of what people would think. But I eventually, when I was diagnosed with HIV, I told the people closest to me, and they showed me nothing but love. And it feels so good now to be open about who I am and all of my darkest, deepest secrets to be laid out on the table, if you like. And it's so freeing, such a freeing feeling. But this friend, I told him about my HIV status, but I didn't tell him about my sexuality. I didn't give him the full picture, basically, which I feel is my right. People don't have a right to know everything about you. They have a right to know what you tell them, and this person found out about my sexuality and what I'd been up to over the 2 or 3 years previous. As I told you, me and my wife were both unfaithful, and I was unfaithful, and he'd found out about this, and he got very angry and started telling people.
Wow, that's crazy. Guys, this YouTuber is Peter. Peter gave me special permission to share this video with folks because we both want people to know that whether you're dealing with weight or whether you're dealing with depression or whether you're dealing with a disease or a malady, you are never alone. There's always somebody out there that's dealing with this as well. That's why we all love YouTube, right? So Peter has this secret that he's slowly but surely sharing with people all around him. And all of a sudden, he tells somebody that he thinks a lifelong friend, because they have been for the last 18 years, and he gets rewarded by them starting to tell everybody about his HIV status. That is an absolute nightmare. Let's see if Peter can get ahead of this.
That we both knew what I was up to at that time, and about my HIV status. He started telling people and exposing my HIV status. And when I found out about this, it was another friend that told me what he was doing. Another person who I thought was my friend, actually. It turned out it wasn't. I was filled with fear. That's the only way I can describe it. A fear that completely consumed me for 2 or 3 days.
So really quick here, in just the first 2.5 minutes, we've learned that this is obviously something that is consuming Peter with fear, but more importantly, we've learned that not only one, but two people that Peter thought were close and dear friends ended up being anything but. If you at home listening to this have some friends like that or had some friends like that, let us know down in the comments, because I think that's one of our common bonds as human beings. I think all of us end up inevitably finding out that at least a couple of our friends are anything but friends.
And I remember lying in bed one day with my wife, And she knew I was going through it, and I was scared and full of fear and worry what people would think, not only about me being HIV positive, but also me being bisexual as well. I was brought up in an era, I'm 45 years old nearly, where you couldn't really talk about this sort of stuff. We're living in an age now where, it's still not easy to talk about this sort of thing, but it's a little bit easier, I would say. So yeah, I was sat in bed one night, terrified, but then I just thought, you know what? I'm going to take the sword out of this person's hand and put it in my own, and I'm going to tell people. So
That has got to feel freeing. Peter, good job. I think when you can get ahead of things, you do take that power away, right? Way to be proactive. One of the things that I talk about on my channel, Peter, in case you're watching this, is the power of walking. Sometimes when you walk, you kind of come down to earth and you realize that, hey, the people that really matter in my life, my family, they already know. My close, true friends already know and support me. And what you really did was you had a situation where this created a spot where you could kind of find out who your true friends were and who your true friends weren't. And that's a positive thing.
I went into my work the following day, and at the time I worked in the gym, because this person, so-called friend, was insinuating they were going to go to my place of work. This is also where I used to train as well. And they were going to tell people, they were going to tell my boss, they were going to tell the people that I work with. So I went into work the next day and I told my boss, I sat down in his office and explained to him what was going on, what was happening. I didn't tell the people I was working with at the time. I just wanted to tell my boss what might happen, that this person may come in and what they might do. And again, he was nothing but supportive, which was a huge relief. And then I started to tell my wider family about my status and about what was going on in my life at the time. So at the time I was having to battle with a lot of things. What me and my wife were going through at the time, my HIV status, sexuality, addiction. I mean, I had it all crashing down on me. I felt like I was in a vice. Everything was coming in on me at both sides. And it was tough. It was very, very tough. But I'm blessed to have a family, amazing wife who I love so much. Parents that have always been there for me, no matter what I've been going through. 25 years of addiction, struggling with sexuality that no one knew of at the time. I was struggling with that on my own for 42 years, which was bloody tough, I tell you, very tough. And they've always been there. They've always been there and supported me, and I'm very blessed to have them. Amazing kids as well. So this person was angry, bitter, and exposed my HIV status, my sexuality, the infidelity, all of it, everything that was going on that they had no right to expose. That should have been my choice and my decision when I did it, but they forced me into it. So that is what originally started this journey. Looking back on it now, I believe things happen for a reason. I'm kind of glad it happened now. At the time I wasn't. I was very angry myself that this person did this. And no surprise, they're no longer in my life. You find out who your real, true friends are when you hit hard times. And I learned a lesson that day, that the people I had around me at that time who I thought were my friends were not my friends.
That is such a true story. I think we all find out that sooner or later. There are some legitimate friends that you have that are lifers, and then there are some friends of yours that are not legitimate friends. One of the dynamics in this story that fascinated me was the fact that he's married to a woman. It sounds like both he and his wife dealt with cheating on one another. And sometimes you can have situations like this where you don't know if your partner is necessarily cheating with a woman or a man. We live in a world where there's a lot of people that are exploring their sexuality. It sounds like Peter struggled with this for 42 years, but it also sounds like he's got a wonderful family unit and a support team that many of us are lacking. So, in that regard, Peter, you are truly blessed. I hope you go forward and I hope you are able to live the true you from this point on. And with everybody else that's out there, whether your partner is having a problem with you, whether you're having a problem with your work, or whether you're having a problem with life in general, one of the best things that you can do is you can go outside and take a walk, come down to earth, try to come up with proactive solutions, and try to come up with plans. And if you're thinking about getting a divorce, or if you're thinking about cheating on your husband and wife, when you're on that walk, you can also try to make the best decision when it comes to things like that as well. I hope you'll join us again next time when we visit another YouTuber who's got vents to share, just like you and me.